stunning to me.
And that's exactly the area where we had seen a brilliant object that came in, and it was like a light explosion that happened out in the desert, maybe about 20 feet from our circle. And it was right, just a little to the right of where I had done the puja. And the area literally lit up for just an instant, like it was daytime, like the one that happened a few years ago at the other site in the Joshua Tree National Park. And what was astonishing about this is that the people who were there in the circle, many people, everyone looking in that direction saw that. And what I then saw in my remote viewing consciousness is that it was actually an ET craft that came in that was offloading all these groups of ET beings that were there for the gathering of cosmic people and for the meditation.
Yes. Can I tell about the meteor that we saw?
Oh yes, yes, that was amazing.
That night was spectacular. We were sitting, and I was looking. There were quite a few people sitting on the east side of the circle, looking west, and so we saw this meteor, this brilliant meteor, come down. It seemed like it was really close, and it started up at least at 70 degrees, and as it came down, then it turned to gold, and there was a gold meteor, and then there was like a little explosion, and then it was gone. Well, so we report this, and people were reporting it and looking at it as this meteor, and to me, there was something that was happening in me that was trying to tell me there was more. There's more to what happened was a lot more than what we were seeing. And so the next night, so at the end, when it went away, a few minutes later, Stephen said, "Oh, there's a being that has come into the circle," and I saw this person also, and it was incredibly intelligent and very loving, and that's the sense I got from that meteor.
Right.
There was intelligence, and there was love to that thing. It was alive.
Right.
So that night, I thought about it and went into it, and this is what happened. This is what I saw, and others did not. And so, but I'm telling you anyway. You can believe it or not. But what I saw that meteor when it started out, and it was brilliant. And as it came down, it left this trail that was half the brilliance of the meteor itself, the light itself. Then it turned gold, and it left a golden trail, half the intensity of the gold light. Then at the end, I don't know if I was looking at the bottom of a craft, but it was circular in shape, and it had like a windmill, but the blades were flat.
Right.
And there was an opening in the middle of it, and so that's what I saw, and so what I feel happened was that was not a meteor. That was a craft an ET craft made to look like a meteor.
Right, and that has happened before. I don't know. It's funny because Jack being here this week, he reminded me of his very first event when he was up on Mount Shasta with us. I don't know if you remember that year where, we had these beautiful tones come in that were, when people heard the tones that came in from multidimensional space-time, and it was definitely ET, people could see the spacecraft in the form of the tone. It was very Puja, very Vedic, because Sanskrit is name and form, where the word for a bunch of flowers, pupanjalim, if you do it at a certain level of consciousness, you can materialize it, or naivedyam, or another word. Well, this was like the tonality of the ship was encoded in the tone, so that when it came into our awareness, everyone saw this sphere and a string of spheres moving along like gray pearls. And that also was when we were there, and when we were breaking circle, we were making a circle, and I was saying sort of a little prayer at the end, and we had, 30, 40, 50 people in a circle out in this national forest at the base of Mount Shasta. And at that instant, there were two objects that went from the east to the west, right beside each other, that traversed the entire sky in a couple seconds, from horizon to horizon, that you could explain away as huge meteors that were two of them together that just went across the entire sky, but they weren't. They made like a rainbow over us, and it was the ETs connecting with us in that consciousness as we made our circle. And so the kind of phenomena that happen is just breathtaking and beautiful, and it never ceases to amaze us how many thousands of ways that we have these experiences happen, up to and including entire craft that materialize around us. But these other things are, in a sense, even more mysterious and wonderful.
Yes, they are. I would just like to close my little story there. The craft the meteor craft that came in delivered the being that came into the circle that we saw.
Yes, and came in from that direction also.
Right, exactly. So it was a total event there that happened, and it was spectacular.
And there was another ET that was there that was transdimensional, where we could see it shimmering and moving around, and it came over to me and Emery, and we had a magnetometer, and the magnetometer was actually going and beating like a heartbeat as this ET being came between us or within us in space-time. And it was definitely not a celestial being. This was an ET being, and it was moving the magnetometer needle. And this is a device that picks up magnetic field flux like you would from a electromagnetic machine or a car engine or what have you, except we're out in the middle of the desert standing by ourselves away from anything. And this energy field comes in, and then it starts beating like the heartbeat of this ET that's standing right there amongst us. And this is exactly what happened in France in July, where we were in this field after this huge craft materialized very quickly, right after I set up the Puja table to do this Puja in Sanskrit. And then later that night we went out past the Puja table, and I was holding my compass, and the compass started beating at the same rhythm as the magnetometer with these ETs that were literally right there amongst us. And they had been fully materialized, but when the whole group, there were about 60 of us, started walking towards them, we saw them and heard them running off, and you could hear their little feet running off, and everyone heard this, and it was like, oh my God, they were shy of a huge group of humans. But then they went into this state, this transdimensional state, where they dematerialized, but were there in this electromagnetic form, and they were there. This one leader of them came between me and Emery, and literally it was like a heartbeat. And initially it was about 80 beats per minute, and then it went up to about 108 beats per minute. And it was amazing because it wasn't just the magnetometer that was making that pulsing, but when we put on a little light, we could see my compass, the needle on it, beating exactly in time with the magnetometer. It's strange stuff. I know for a lot of people just hearing this are going, oh my God. But that's what you would expect from civilizations going faster than the speed of light. I mean, remember, if it's actually ET and not something being made from a classified project at Lockheed Martin or Northrop Grumman, it's something that is going to be very unusual, because imagine going faster than the speed of light, say from the Andromeda Galaxy, which is 2.5 million light years from here. Well, you can't do that staying in a solid materialized form. So they have these electronic systems where the craft and everyone in it shifts into this other dimension. And it's almost like an astral. It's like an electronic astral projection, but in a very space-age sort of way, a very electronic sort of way. And that's what we're dealing with, and that's why people have these sort of experiences that are so unusual and yet also so beautiful. And I just want to mention, because we're almost out of time, it's hard to believe it's been almost an hour already, but those of you who are interested, we're going to do a special winter retreat on an island in the Gulf of Mexico called Marco Island, and we're going to be doing that in March. And the information is at CSETI.org, CSETI.org, and we're going to be there from the 6th of March until through the 12th, and so for that whole week, and it's going to be an expedition. It's going to be a very small group. It's limited to 15 people, and our senior contact team, and so there'll be about a 2-to-1 student registrant senior team ratio, and we're going to have an amazing area because we've gotten permission from a park there on the island so that we're the only group that will have use of it at night, and it's going to be amazing. So, again, from the 6th until the 12th of March, those of you who want to join us, the information is at cseti.org. And I'm going to be doing a 3-day expedition in Orange County in February. Those of you who want to make it to that, it'll be February 18th, 19th, and 20th, and we're going to go to a really beautiful area that's another park that's gated that we're going to have exclusive use for our group, and that'll be limited to under 30 people, and it's going to be there in the area around Orange County, up in the canyons west of the population centers. And we're going to be meeting in Irvine during the day, and then we'll go up at night to this park that's a really beautiful place where we were a little over a year ago, where we actually had an ET voice that we recorded that came through and had objects that came right into the canyon and over the lake at this state park where we're going to be. So those of you who want to come to that, information should be up on the website soon about that. We're just finishing up the organization of that right now. So, and then in June, as I mentioned, we will be up on at Blanca Peak and in Colorado and Crestone in June, and that's going to be the week of the 19th of June. So that's Father's Day. So that week of the 19th to the 25th, we will be up in Colorado. And then we're going to be going to the crop circles in July again, the week of the 23rd to the 30th. And again, these are all limited to very small groups. But if you want to come to these, go to the website and contact Debbie Foch, who's our coordinator. And we used to have larger groups, but we're at this point we're trying to increase this as more of a senior research team expedition with only 15 trainees or registrants. So it is a relatively small group, but there are a few of them through the year, and then there will be these other shorter ones that we'll do that will be allow more people to come. So if you want to come to any of those, feel free to go to the website and look at the dates, and hope to see you at one of them. And Trudy, thank you for joining us today on the World Puja Network.
Thank you, and for having me. I love it.
And I'd like to thank the folks at the World Puja Network for giving us this time every 2 weeks. This is Dr. Stephen Greer with Conversations with Dr. Greer. And until next time, God bless and keep looking up. Bye-bye.